Hello everyone, and welcome back to our C1 Advanced English series. I'm Emma, and today we're tackling something that separates good writers from truly excellent ones.
Hey folks, Jake here. And Emma's right. This is the kind of skill that examiners notice immediately. We're talking about discourse coherence and cohesion.
Exactly. Now, many advanced learners can produce grammatically perfect sentences, but their paragraphs still feel choppy or disconnected. Have you noticed that, Jake?
All the time. Students hand me essays where every sentence is correct, but reading the whole thing feels like riding a bicycle with square wheels. Bumpy, you know?
What a wonderful image. So today we'll explore 5 essential concepts: reference chains, lexical cohesion, thematic progression, paragraph unity, and signposting.
Big terms, but don't worry. By the end of this lesson, you'll understand each one and, more importantly, know how to use them in your own writing.
Right then, let's begin with the foundation. Coherence is about meaning. Does your text make logical sense as a whole? Cohesion is about the linguistic glue that holds sentences together.
So coherence is the big picture, cohesion is the stitching. A text can be cohesive but incoherent, or coherent but poorly stitched together.
Precisely. The first tool we use is reference chains. These are the threads of pronouns, demonstratives, and synonyms that point back to something already mentioned.
Like, if I say, the professor walked in. She greeted us. The woman seemed exhausted. Those underlined words, she, the woman, they form a reference chain pointing to the professor.
Beautifully demonstrated. Reference chains keep readers oriented. Without them, every sentence feels like a fresh start. Then we have lexical cohesion, repeating or varying key vocabulary to maintain a topic.
And thematic progression is how the topic of each sentence connects to what came before. Plus paragraph unity. Every sentence in a paragraph supporting one main idea. And finally, signposting, which guides the reader through your argument.
Marvelous summary. Now let's see these in action. Jake, I've brought a paragraph I wrote about urbanization. Listen carefully and tell me what you notice.
Go for it, Emma.
Urbanization has reshaped the modern world. This phenomenon, driven by industrial growth, has pulled millions from rural areas into sprawling cities. The cities, in turn, struggle to accommodate them. Such pressures often manifest in housing shortages and overburdened transport networks.
Okay, I'm going to play detective. You started with urbanization, then referred back to it as this phenomenon. That's a reference chain right there.
Spot on. And what about the connection between sentences?
Each sentence picks up something from the previous one. Cities appeared, then, the cities became the subject of the next sentence. That's thematic progression. The new theme builds on what was already introduced.
Excellent. Now, your turn. Try writing, or rather, speaking, a similar paragraph about technology. But make a mistake on purpose so we can fix it together.
Alright, technology has transformed daily life. People use smartphones constantly. The weather has been nice this week. Many workers depend on digital tools.
Stop right there. What went wrong?
The weather sentence. It broke paragraph unity completely. It has nothing to do with technology, so it shatters the topic.
Exactly. Paragraph unity demands that every sentence serve the central idea. Try again, but stay on topic.
Technology has transformed daily life. People rely on smartphones for navigation, communication, and entertainment. These devices, once luxuries, have become necessities. Such dependence raises important questions about digital well-being.
Beautiful. Now we have lexical cohesion through smartphones, devices, digital, all related vocabulary. We have reference chains with these devices, and such dependence. And paragraph unity is preserved throughout.
I felt the difference as I was speaking. Everything felt connected.
Let's pause and unpack what we just did. Reference chains work in 3 main ways. Through pronouns like it, or they, through demonstratives like this, or such, and through synonyms or paraphrases.
And the trick is variety. If you keep repeating the same noun, your writing sounds robotic. But if you only use pronouns, readers get lost. Good reference chains balance the two.
Lexical cohesion is the next layer. It's about creating a semantic field, a network of related words. If you're writing about education, words like students, curriculum, learning, instruction, all reinforce the topic without literal repetition.
Lexical cohesion is what makes a paragraph feel rich. Examiners can sense it even before they consciously analyze it.
Thematic progression is more subtle. There are two main patterns. Linear progression. The new information of one sentence becomes the topic of the next. Constant progression. The same theme is examined from different angles.
Most strong writers blend both. Pure linear progression can feel like a chain that drifts away from the original idea. Pure constant progression can feel repetitive.
Then comes paragraph unity. Each paragraph should have one controlling idea, often expressed in a topic sentence. Every other sentence either develops, exemplifies, or qualifies that idea.
And signposting. Those little phrases that tell readers where they are. Firstly, in contrast, as a result, to illustrate this point. They're like road signs through your argument.
But, and this is crucial, signposting must be used sparingly at C1 level. Overusing, firstly, secondly, thirdly, makes writing feel mechanical.
Right. Sophisticated writers prefer subtler signposting. Things like, a more pressing concern is. Or, this view, however, overlooks. Guide readers without sounding like a textbook.
Let's try another exercise. Jake, I'll give you a topic, and you'll produce a short paragraph. Topic: the importance of reading literature.
Reading literature offers more than mere entertainment. Novels, poems, and plays expose readers to perspectives they would never encounter in their daily lives. Such exposure cultivates empathy in ways few other activities can match. Furthermore, literary texts sharpen our linguistic intuitions, enriching how we ourselves communicate.
Wonderful. Walk me through the cohesive devices you used.
I started with reading literature as my main theme. Then I used novels, poems, and plays for lexical cohesion. They're all examples of literature. Such exposure is a reference chain pointing back to the previous sentence. And, furthermore, is a piece of signposting that adds another argument.
Splendid analysis. Notice how thematic progression works here too. Readers appeared as new information in sentence 2 and became the implied subject in sentence 3 through such exposure cultivates empathy.
Now Emma, your turn. Topic: the challenges of remote work.
Remote work has revolutionized the modern office, yet it brings considerable challenges. Many employees report feeling isolated, struggling to maintain boundaries between professional and personal life. This blurring of boundaries, in particular, has been linked to rising burnout. Companies, for their part, must rethink how teams collaborate when colleagues rarely share physical space.
Let me dissect that. Remote work is your starting theme. It refers back. That's a basic reference chain. Then, employees, colleagues, companies, teams, those create lexical cohesion around the workplace topic.
And the thematic progression?
You introduced boundaries as new information. Then, this blurring of boundaries picked it up as the next theme. Classic linear progression. And paragraph unity stayed tight. Every sentence relates to challenges of remote work.
Exactly. Now let's review our key vocabulary deliberately. Jake, when we talk about reference chains, what's the most common mistake learners make?
Broken reference chains. Students start a chain with a clear noun, then jump to a pronoun whose antecedent is ambiguous. The reader has to stop and think, wait, who does she refer to? That breaks the flow.
Yes, ambiguous reference chains are deadly in academic writing. Always ensure every pronoun has one clear antecedent. And lexical cohesion. What's your top tip?
For lexical cohesion, build a vocabulary list before you write. If your essay is about climate change, jot down related terms: emissions, carbon, atmosphere, sustainability. Weaving them throughout creates natural lexical cohesion.
Marvelous advice. Now, thematic progression. How do learners typically struggle with it?
They don't think about it consciously. Each sentence starts a new topic, and there's no thematic progression at all. The fix is simple. Ask yourself, what did the previous sentence end with? Can I begin the next sentence by picking that up?
Excellent. Paragraph unity. The cardinal rule?
One paragraph, one idea. If you're tempted to add a sentence that doesn't directly support the controlling idea, put it in a different paragraph. Paragraph unity isn't optional at C1.
And finally, signposting. The biggest pitfall?
Overuse. Beginners pile on, firstly, secondly, moreover, in addition, until the essay reads like a checklist. At C1, signposting should be elegant and varied. Use phrases that genuinely reflect your argument's shape.
Beautifully said. Right. Let's review everything we've covered today. We started with the distinction between coherence, overall meaning, and cohesion, the linguistic glue.
Then we explored reference chains, the threads of pronouns, demonstratives, and synonyms that connect sentences. We saw how broken or ambiguous reference chains confuse readers.
We discussed lexical cohesion, the network of topically related words that gives a paragraph its semantic richness. We saw how lexical cohesion can be built through synonyms, hyponyms, and word families.
We covered thematic progression, linear, where new information becomes the next topic, and constant, where one theme is examined from multiple angles. Most strong writing blends both.
Paragraph unity demands that every sentence serve one controlling idea. Without paragraph unity, even cohesive sentences feel scattered.
And signposting, used sparingly and elegantly, guides readers through your argument. Good signposting reflects logical structure rather than imposing an artificial one.
Here's a homework challenge. Write a 200-word paragraph on a topic of your choice. Then go back and underline each cohesive device. Identify your reference chains, your lexical cohesion, your thematic progression, your paragraph unity, and your signposting phrases.
That conscious analysis is what transforms learners into skilled writers. After a few weeks, these techniques become automatic.
Right then, that brings us to the end of today's lesson. We hope you've gained a clearer sense of how cohesive writing actually works at the discourse level.
Remember, examiners and readers respond to flow even when they can't articulate why. The techniques we covered today are the invisible architecture of great writing.
In our next lesson, C106, we'll move into nuanced expression of opinion and stance. We'll explore hedging, boosting, and how advanced writers signal certainty and doubt with precision.
It's a perfect follow-up to today's topic. Once your writing flows, you need to master the subtle art of expressing exactly how strongly you believe what you're saying.
Until then, practice spotting cohesion in everything you read. Newspapers, novels, academic articles, they're all full of examples.
Thanks for joining us today, everyone. Keep writing, keep analyzing, and we'll see you next time.
Goodbye for now, and happy writing.